write a short book or a long book? Which one is actually going to be right for your service business? We're going to talk about that today on today's video. Hey guys, I'm Sharlrita Deloatch, and on this channel, I talk about how to turn your skills into cash by providing passive income tips for my ladies service provider friends. Make sure that you go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, also hit that notification bell so when I upload a new video, you will be the first to know. So let's get into today's content. Now, I'm going to talk about short books first, and we're going to talk about books that are under 200 pages, okay? We'll talk about that. That's what I consider short. Now, here are the pros. I'm going to give you some pros and some cons. The pros are if you decide to write short books is that it gives you a quicker read. So it's easier to fit into a busy schedule, encouraging more people to download and complete it, okay? So it does give you that burst of, yes, I got it done. That's what I write. I actually write quick reads. For me, they're easier for me to write. They're easy because I'm a busy woman. So, but I want to get the content out there. Okay. Also, I love short reads because you get a focused message. If you're somebody that is all over the place when it comes to what book you want to write, I suggest write a shorter book because it gives you that focused message. It gives you less chance of rambling and losing your reader's attention. So if you take one topic and break your topic down into segments, okay, is what I suggest that you do. For example, I write books about writing books, all right, but it's more to I'm just writing books. There's marketing, but even if I break marketing down, which my next book is going to be about email marketing, so I broke my books down into creating a series because I know that my books, first of all, is easier for me to write, and it gives me a focused message for my ideal reader. Okay, which is something you also want to take into account. But another one is it is a low barrier to entry. So people might be more willing to download a shorter book, especially if it's free. This is why I suggest, which I use my books as a lead magnet. So this is basically a printed lead magnet. My latest book, Power Publishing Secrets, How to Write Your Book Fast, is actually only 40 pages. My last video, I think I said 45. And I'm actually looking at my book now. It's 40 pages, but it's packed with value, okay, and based on the reviews that I've gotten, it's packed with value. But not only that, it was just so easy for me to write. It was easy for me to put it out there, and I focus on a one particular part of writing, okay? So it's easy and it's a low barrier. I use this book as a lead generator. When I go out, to which I'm doing some coffee dates soon, this is going to be a way or a gift that I can give away, like a business card, right? So that's how I think about shorter books and how to use them in my business. Okay. Also, okay, promotional opportunities. That's not supposed to be there. Okay, let's continue. Okay, here are the cons. Okay, here are the cons. Limited depth. So you might not be able to fully explore your service or expertise in a shorter book. So because my book is only 40 pages, I'm not going into a more in depth, you know what I mean, about writing. I give you the basis of what you need when it comes to writing to get you up the over that hump to get started, and how you can write your book faster. Okay, so taking one topic, some people like to read in-depth things, some people don't. Sometimes it can give you less credibility. A shorter book might be perceived, I should have highlighted that word, perceived, as less valuable compared to long and detailed ones. That's a perception. It does not mean that it's final. It's a perception, and that's a mindset thing that I had to get over for myself, because the perception for me and what stopped me for a long time of not publishing books is that I perceived that I wouldn't be credible because I didn't write a longer book, which is far from the truth. Will there be individuals that don't want to read my book because it's short? Absolutely. Absolutely. But the book is not for them. Will there be people that are like, oh my God, I love shorter books? Like, yes, I'm ready for your next one. Then, yes, it's going to be for them. So that's why I put the word perceived, because everybody's perception is their reality. So, my perception is right now in this video is that in order for you to really grow your business, or in order for you to, even as a service entrepreneur, I feel like if you write many short books, that's a great way for you to create passive income. That's a great way for you to get your expertise out there in a mini type of way, like my friend Jamie says, a minimalist way. So that's my perception. And it could be also is my perception because I like to read shorter books, so that may be the reason why I like to write shorter books. Okay, so that's my perception. But there are some amazing authors out there that write fiction books, they write romance books, and they are really big books. But they have an audience for that. There's people out there that love those books. I'm not a romance reader, but it does not mean that they are not valuable or people perceive them as valuable. Some people may perceive my book as, girl, that's not valuable to me, but it's valuable to me and it's valuable to the people that purchase it, you know? So that's why I put the word perceived. Okay. So let's talk about longer books. And when I say longer books, I mean over 200 pages. Here are the pros. You do get opportunity to deep dive. So it gives you room to really explain your service, showcase your knowledge, your expertise, and establish yourself as an authority. Now, that does not mean you're not an authority with a shorter book. It's just what's perceived, especially on different platforms like LinkedIn, for example. I see that a lot of authors there wrote bigger books and they could be perceived as an authority. That doesn't make me feel any type of way because I know I'm an authority. It's really, to be honest, it's all about not just perception, but what your belief is. What do you believe? Okay. But if you write a bigger book, which a lot of authority figures write big books, and they could be perceived as an authority. Now, it does give you a higher perceived value. Okay. I'm emphasizing on that word perceived because readers might see a longer book as offering more content and expertise. But that doesn't always mean that. There's some bigger books that I read that were trash, that were really trash. And I mean trash, like they rambled and they did not give the contents and what they said they was going to give in the book. But there are some longer books that I have read that are amazing. Okay, that they really, really put their heart and soul into the book, especially when it comes to nonfiction. Business books is what I read a lot of. I've seen that, the perception, which is my perception, was that some books were valuable, some books were not. Okay, but here's the con when it comes to writing those longer books: it's time commitment. A lot of people might not have the time, or even as a writer, you might not have the time. And then you might have people that are hesitant on downloading a lengthy book, especially if they're unfamiliar with you. I personally don't download hefty ebooks. I download shorter books. I do purchase bigger, the longer books. I purchase those in print. Okay, that's my preference. So you may be a little bit different than me, and that's okay. But some people are hesitant on downloading lengthy books. They just don't want to because they may be intimidated by the page count. Okay, another con is that you may risk losing interest. So a long book needs excellent pacing and structure to avoid dragging. So if you're not a writer per se, or you don't have any interest in writing a longer book, and you're dragging it on and dragging it on, and you may lose people, especially if you're not familiar with how to structure a longer book. Okay. But here are the things I want you to consider before you decide for yourself. Am I going to write a long book for my brand and business? I suggest, if you're going to write a long book for your business, especially if you're a service-based entrepreneur, if you're going to write a longer book, that's fine for you to do that. But just know there's no pressure for you to write several longer books. Those that are in the fiction industry, that in romance, in those genres, most of the time they're writing a book maybe every 6 months, maybe 12 to 18 months, if that. Okay. So don't feel that pressure that you have to do that, but you do get longer. I think you get longer longevity in a longer book, meaning you can write a longer book in April and then won't have to write another one till a year later before people really start to request it. Okay, making sure that you're going in depth in that topic. But I do want you to consider, even with shorter books, if you're deciding to dive into shorter books, just know that people expectation is for you to continue to write. So for someone like me, I wrote a book in a day yesterday, and I'm going to publish it this month. I'm actually going to publish 2 books this month. But for me as a writer, I can write fast. Plus, I use content that I already have, so I make that super easy for me. So you're going to dive into writing shorter books. Please know, especially if you're breaking down topics, people expectation is going to be, where's your next book, because we're ready for the next one. So but you want to consider your audience. If they are busy professionals who need a quick read, or are they a potential client who wants in-depth information, I could write a thick book if I wanted to by combining all of my short books, but I don't want to, based on who I serve. And not only I want you to consider your audience, I want you to also consider yourself. What can you do? What are you committed to doing? If you're not committed to writing a lengthy book, then don't write shorter books. That's But you need to write a book. Okay. So that's like me being your mama, like, these are your options. Okay. Your option is to write a shorter book, or write a longer book, or write a shorter book. If you don't have the time or the space, or if you're saying things like, wow, is I've been wanting to write my book for the last 2 years or the last 5 years, honey, you need to write a shorter book. Just plain and simple. Shorter books with the S, with a big S. You need to write shorter books, because you're either sitting around in analysis paralysis, you don't know what you want to write about, or you're sitting around procrastinating. Write a shorter book. Okay. But I want you to focus on values. It does not matter the length. Ensure that your book provides the value and takeaways for your readers. Think about, would you read the book that you are writing? Like, would you honestly sit down and read the book and take action on the book that you are writing? Okay. But do start small. Start small and expand. If you're unsure, start with a shorter book and then offer a longer book with more details later. You can always do it later. But start somewhere. Okay. So listen, if you're not a part of my newsletter, I would love for you to be a part of my free newsletter, Elevate Your Digital Publishing Business Daily. This is where I share 3 quick and valuable resources that's going to help you to elevate. Okay. Excuse me. The link is in the description for you to download my newsletter. All right. If you have not already, go ahead and purchase my newest book, Power Publishing Secrets: How to Write Your Book Fast. So if you're in analysis paralysis, you need this book. Okay. But if you're like, you know what, Sharlrita, I'm gonna be real, I'm not gonna sit down and write this book, come to my workshop. I have a workshop that's happening on April the 18th. If you're looking at this video afterwards, you can get the replay of the workshop. You can do that. Okay. But go ahead and grab the book. If you attend the workshop, you can get this book for free. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to autograph it for you, put a little note in there for you, and autograph it and send it to your mailbox. Okay. So the choice is yours, which way you want to do it. I would love to actually see you in the workshop so that I can, teach you. And the workshop is working. So we're going to be working. I'm going to give you some prompts and things that you can do right away to get your book published. My expectation is that once you leave that workshop, you're going to know where you want to go, whether you want to write a short book or a long book. Of course, I'm going to push you to write a shorter book because I think that's what you need. But I'm going to make sure that at the end of the workshop, you have that revelation. Okay. All right. So into the next video, I will see you guys next time. Okay. Talk to you soon.